Do you drive an electric car?
No.
Why not?
I don't have a car.
I do.
You do?
My dad does.
My dad owns one, but he doesn't let me drive it.
Does he like it?
Yes.
He absolutely loves it.
Why?
Because it saves him so much gas.
Do you guys think electric cars are a sustainable option for the environment as well?
Definitely 100%. They are absolutely a good point.
What makes them good for the environment?
There is no pollution. Electricity can be generated in different forms, so you don't have to use up energy and resources for it.
Maybe a negligible impact. The electricity that you get from your car still has to come from somewhere, and unless it's a green source of energy, I don't really think it's going to make that much of a difference.
I thought they were absolutely better, but then the part of charging it and the power, like it's still using carbon.
I've seen a lot of the things talking about lithium, and I don't know if it's sustainable for the climate. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I think it's debatable. We forget where the cars are made from. So like lithium and mining in general. That, and we hope that the materials are sourced ethically, right?
We have to just keep looking for alternative sources of energy.
The government of Canada heavily favors the EV solution, considering the incentive programs and supportive messaging around this innovative technology. However, does the science of electric-powered cars actually make sense? Is there proof that this technology supports our climate goals? Let's talk about it. Guys, I'm curious, what impact does creating EVs have on the environment, if any?
So if you're looking at just the production stage, EVs do create more of a carbon footprint in the production stage. They probably create 50% more than gas-powered cars. However, when you look at the total lifespan of an electric car versus a gas car, the electric car significantly produces less once it's actually on the road.
Interesting, but we don't have enough information to know if EVs are going to last 10, 15, 20 years in driving because they haven't been around that long, no?
No, there's not enough. Well, I'm sure that the research is there, but I think the argument for it needs to be is what's going to happen once it's produced and once you start driving it. So you have a gas-powered car, you're putting gas in it, you're burning more fuel. I think that part of it is out of the equation, and that's the whole purpose of it.
Interesting.
Zero emissions as you're driving it, not as it's being manufactured.
Chris, would you agree with Sage's take in terms of the environmental impact?
I would say we just have to look at, like we said, we don't know the entire life cycle of that vehicle. So we're saying, okay, it takes all this carbon here. Then in the middle here, it's using just the electricity. However, we're getting that electricity. And then what's the end of the life cycle, right? Do we have to get a new battery? What happens to the old battery? Do these cars last?
So one of the things with the batteries is there was an interesting video published recently. Plants, and like Anthony said, they're throwing a lot of money at these issues, and they're actually figuring out how to break down these batteries and how to recycle these batteries in an ongoing cycle forever. So why would the lack of recyclability for the batteries still be an argument?
I assume that, number one, I don't know how far along that process actually is. Number two, like I've never seen anything in human history that's 100% recyclable, right? We always have some sort of waste coming off the top. So at scale, what does that look like when we have like literally a country or a planet full of electric vehicles? I'm not sure. So I just think we don't really know the long tail effects. In the 90s, the European Union was all about diesel vehicles because they burned less. Now they're completely going backwards on that entire, completely. And they had all these facts, figures, same thing we have right now with diesel.
Well, it doesn't actually matter what the lifespan of the car is, because it's shown that electric vehicles in 6 months to 2 years can already be more efficient and produce less of a footprint. So you don't even need to drive the car for its full lifespan to know that it's going to be more efficient.
Now, on the point of, we obviously know that we need cobalt and lithium to create these batteries and to power these cars. Have you seen the cobalt mines? They have children mining these mines out in other countries that are producing an insane amount on their carbon emissions. And then what? Canada just looks better because they have lower carbon emissions, and we're buying that from other countries? It doesn't really seem like a solution.
No different than buying oil from countries that have abhorrent human rights records. It's almost like the same thing. We buy oil from countries in the Middle East, and some of them have very abhorrent human rights records, but we need fossil fuels to live.
Chris, why do you think there's such a resistance to EVs? I mean, if we can evolve this technology, could we start to see EVs being the primary push, and then you only drive EVs?
Well, I think that the technology has gotten better. So I think now people are more open to considering it, because before the technology wasn't as good as a gas-powered vehicle, just in the sense of like range and things like that. I think there's still resistance. People, number one, don't like change. Number two, people are also resistant of like what kind of control does an EV have? Like people have an idea that their car can be turned off with a switch. I don't know if that's true or not, right? But there's concerns with that too, and even kind of like, I guess not privacy, but control concerns. How much control do I have over my own vehicle, right?
Interesting take. Yeah, we'll get into it in the next segment. When we come back, are our EV goals realistic? We're going to discover the logistics of actually making this happen.